welcome back to this space that we share together, where we integrate the work of the current week and we prepare for the work of the next week. So congratulations. However you did the anger release, great job. This is courageous, deep work. And we want to notice after that work, how does it feel differently to be in our bodies, in our arms, in our legs, in our feet, in our heart, in our pelvis, in our tummy, in our chest? How does it feel in your body in this moment, having done anger release however you did it? Just noticing, just feeling. And you know, the process that we started with, notice, choose, and act, you noticed that there was an opportunity to release some things you've been holding on to. You chose to do that in whatever way you did, and you took action with that choice by releasing whatever you did, however you did. And the fourth part of that process that Yvonne often reminds us about is celebration or acknowledgement. So I want to start off our time together with that piece. And this piece is writing to yourself. And it's basically giving yourself some acknowledgement. And the way it's going to work is you're going to write thank you for, and then anything that you want to thank yourself for. And then the line below, thank you for, anything you want to thank yourself for. And then thank you for, as many as you can in the time that we're going to give you to write. And I'd love you, as you write, to imagine your own face just receiving this thanks, and just let that gratitude, you to you, sink into your cells. You know, there's just sometimes, particularly after hard work, when we need to take a victory lap. This is your victory lap. Take it with joy and pleasure. Great job with that. And I'm going to invite you to add on to that list with more thank you fors in the morning, at night, in the middle of the day, acknowledging all that we bring to engaging to life, to being more fully alive, to acts of service, to acts of kindness, to stepping out of our comfort zone, is the way that we develop habits in our daily life that shift our way of being, that shift our surroundings, that shift our reality, that shift our perspective. So we need to be reinforced, right? And saying thank you for is such a simple way to reinforce the kinds of behaviors that bring us what we're truly looking for. So I'm going to encourage you to keep doing that practice. And I'm going to let you know right up front, this is going to be a shorter session. We did such deep work last week in the pre-course video and in all of our classes, in the Monday class and all the other classes. So this is going to be a little shorter. And the idea of our time today is to open some doors and then to be with what opening those doors reveals. So it's more subtle work. We're moving into week 7. And it's getting more soft, more subtle, more receptive, more vulnerable. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do today is very simple. I'm going to ask you to make a list of people who have harmed you. Make a list of people who have harmed you. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Great work. Now, next to each name of a person who's harmed you, I'd like you to list 2 or 3 feeling words that describe the feeling that this harm evoked. Fear, shame, hurt, betrayal, whatever feeling words described what this harm that this person caused brought up for you. So 2 or 3 feeling words next to each name. Do it now. So now on your piece of paper, you should have names with 2 or 3 feeling words that described the feelings that were brought up when this person caused you harm. Next to each of those groups of feeling words, I'd like you to either write a Y or an N. I'd like you to write a Y if you are ready today to enter into a forgiveness process around this person and towards this person. And an N if you're not ready today. You're just clear. No, I'm not ready to forgive them. And we want to be really conscious that this is an awareness exercise. Y's are not better than N's. N's are not better than Y's. We're just noticing what's so. So if you are ready to forgive this person, next to those feeling words, put a Y. If you're not ready, put an N. Great work. Now I'd like you to make a list of the people who you believe you have harmed. People you believe you have harmed. Do it now. Now, next to these names of people you believed you've harmed, I'd like you to write 2 or 3 words that describe the feelings that you think may have been evoked from the harm you created. What were the feelings that you imagine arose in the other person when you caused this harm? 2 or 3 feeling words of what they might have been feeling when you caused that harm next to each person. Do it now. Okay, great. So like we did in the first column, with the people that harmed you, for the people you have harmed, and wrote the feeling words that you imagine they might have felt when you created that harm, we're going to write a Y or an in. The Y is if you are ready and willing to forgive yourself. You put a Y. If you're not willing to forgive yourself for the harm that you caused, put an in. Y if you're ready to forgive yourself, in if you're not. Go ahead. For most of us, when we do this exercise, we've got some ins. There's some places and some things that where we caused harm that we're not willing to forgive ourselves for. And there's harm that someone else caused us that we're not willing to extend forgiveness for. Both, right? All of us, most of us have some ins. So if you've got some ins, I've got some questions for you. How does it feel to withhold forgiveness from yourself? What do you like about it? And what's painful and hard about it? How does it feel to withhold forgiveness from yourself? What do you like about it? And what's hard or painful about it? Great work. And now I'm going to ask you the same question around withholding forgiveness from someone who has harmed you, someone on the list that you made. How does it feel to withhold forgiveness from another person, this person on your list? What do you like about it? Some part of it feel good. And then what's hard or what's painful about withholding forgiveness from another person? And before we finish up today, we want to be really clear on what forgiveness is and what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is a cleansing of your own heart so that more love can come in and more love can go out. It's not condoning harmful behavior. It's not putting yourself in harm's way. It's not giving access to your vulnerability to someone who doesn't deserve it and who hasn't earned it. So forgiveness is about us. It's about cleansing the places where we're holding negative energy, where we're holding pain, where we're holding resentment in our own body in a way that hurts us. It's not so much about the other person, and it certainly doesn't ever mean doing something that could potentially put us in harm's way. So I just want to be really, really clear on that. Generosity does not mean, and forgiveness does not mean, ever putting yourself in a situation where you don't feel safe and where you might be harmed. Saying that, I'd love for you to spend some time with these lists that you've made and with the answers that you've given over the weekend, and see what happens as you start to feel where you're holding resentment towards yourself for harm you caused, judgments towards yourself for harm you caused, and where you're holding resentment and judgment against others for the harm they've caused you. To start to feel in and really be honest about what's the effect on your daily life, what's the effect on your relationship of holding these resentments. How does it feel in your body? What might be possible for you if you were able to let those go, if you were able to cleanse your heart? So no work to do except reviewing what you've written and just really starting to be more and more honest, dropping the waterline with yourself about your relationship to holding on to these resentments. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend.